Okay, Sara here, Sprinter Mom with Lashes On. I'm your host. Welcome to my podcast. I'm so glad you're tuning in this week. I have a mom fail to share. And as I was thinking of sharing this, I thought of how cool the story turned around in a way. And well, you'll see. And I will share it with you.
This is the Sprinter Mom with Lashes On podcast.
So recently, I don't know what it is. I think it's coming into May and having a lot of responsibilities and checklists and things to do. This is one of those seasons. And so you got back to school, you've got the holiday season, you've got Christmas on top of all the holidays. And then you have May, end of the year celebrations and all the things that acquire with it. And I don't know what it was. And maybe it's the heat, Arizona's getting a little warmer, but I have been more irritated with my kids recently than I have been in a while. And you can ask all my kids, I am a very patient mom. In fact, I will never forget my 14-year-old is wow, mom, I don't know how you do it. When all the kids are in the car, he's I don't know how you do it. And I'm yeah, I don't know. I'm just patient. It's the spirit in me. And so I am very patient. I have a high tolerance for chaos. I can handle a lot of things. When kids are going nuts, I'm pretty mellow for the most part. However, I can scream. And I don't like screaming because when I get to the point of screaming, it usually means I've lost control of the room. But on top of that, screaming for me is not just verbal or trying to get my kids' attention, but it actually hurts my chest with my just the anxiety of it. And so when I am escalating that I have to get to the point of literally yelling at my kids to stop wrestling or get off your brother or stop feeding the dog, chocolate. They're going to die. They're all going to die. But when I'm yelling at the kids, I'm actually raising my blood pressure, I feel and just elevating my body, and I don't like it. And so every time if I do get escalated and I yell at the kids, I have a lot of personal guilt about it afterwards because I don't like yelling at all. And the kids know that. And I'm if I'm yelling, that's it's not good. And so lately anyway, I've had more anger than normal. And a part of me was oh my gosh, is it because I'm almost turning 40? Is this a hormonal thing changing in me? I don't know. And then I realized maybe it's just the heat. Maybe I have hit the year of having 9 kids at home. And now I'm I don't know, adjusting or feeling do I still have a handle on all of this? I don't know. So anyway, I've been yelling at my kids and I feel bad. It's awful. A little bit angry. And I actually have a son who also has some anger issues. And it was interesting that last week, so he sees a counselor at school, an actual certified trauma therapist, wonderful lady, Christian led, just phenomenal. I would go to the school just for the school counselor alone. That's a whole nother podcast. But I had been talking to the counselor about my son's rage and anger issues and some of the things that he's been doing lately. And I said, this is not him. This is not his spirit. He is kind. He is lovable. He is sensitive. He's not a yeller. He's not he doesn't often is quick to anger, but he has been raging so much recently to the point of disrespecting his parents and just really out of character. And so I was talking to her about it. We, discussed some things, and he came home and he got upset with his brother over something. And then he's just sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. And so I grabbed him and I hugged him, and he said, it's like no one is on my side and everyone is out to get me. And I just can't help that I'm so angry. And I said, buddy, you know what? Mom's been struggling with that lately too. And so I held him and I hugged him, and I didn't have the time right then and there to have that deep conversation. But as a mom of 9 at home, I said, you know what would be great? When I put the little kids to bed tonight, you and I, we're going to get together and we're going to make a list of some action items and some tools that we can use so that when we do get angry, we can go to that or use those to help us. And so I laid in bed with my son, and we made a list of 5 things that we were going to do. It was so neat to see how I had been really struggling with yelling because I hate it. It makes me feel sick. I don't like it. I don't like yelling at my kids. And I apologized to him and told him, like, I'm really struggling with this too. Let's work on this together. And so we made a list, and I actually don't have the list with me, but I should go grab it. Okay. So as I am laying in bed with my son, we come up with some tools together, things that I had been working on and things that we could do together or remind each other when we see each other getting angry or getting elevated. The first thing I told him, also he titled this Talk to Yourself Tools. The first thing I told him that I've been doing lately when I get a little heated is that I pray for my family members. And so as I'm getting heated, I told him, like, sometimes they're irritating us. It's really frustrating. But if you stop and intentionally pray for them, it resets your soul. And I think that's really important. The second thing I reminded him of is that he needs to remember his parents are always on his side. So even if maybe we're talking about something important, or we're out, we're not in the house, we're asking him to handle it for the moment, we are always on his side. We always have his back. And we love him very much. So I told him that just as a reminder. Number 3 is that him and I created a code word, and we said that when we see each other getting upset, we're going to say, hey, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. And so we remember, not only are we praying for our family members, but we're praying for each other when we get upset or heated or angry. The fourth thing that I told him to remember is that he has parents he can talk to, and that not everyone has the chance to be able to really be vulnerable with their parents or share their deepest emotions, but that he does, that we love it, that his dad is a doctor of psychology, and he just wants to talk all the feelings, and that's great. It's a good thing. And so we do want to talk to him, and that we're here to listen to him on top of his family, school counselor, and all that. And finally, I wanted to remind him that his siblings are preparing him for relationships as an adult. And so he, as annoying as it is sometimes it feels like they're bullying. Sometimes it feels like you're the only one being picked on, or one of the other kids might feel like they're the only one being picked on. But as we work together in this safe environment, we're working out some of those emotions and feelings that we are going to face when we're older adults. However, after practicing it so much at home, we'll probably just be really great, emotionally balanced adults that don't have to get ragey and heated. Now, I'm not saying he won't ever be that way, but I do think I wanted to remind him, like, this is normal. Like, no, not this amount of kids is normal, but the emotions and the feelings and the fighting and arguing, like, that's going to happen, especially in a big group of kids. but we all love each other. You don't have to like each other in the moment, but we all love each other and we're preparing each other for adulthood and being big people with big feelings. So yeah, it was just a neat chance to sit with my son. And as I went to bed that night, I was reflecting on how much I had been struggling with my inner anger, and how that was a total mom fail for me. But then I was able to use that fail and really connect with one of my kiddos. And it really became therapeutic. And I walked away from the conversation feeling hopeful for him, hopeful for myself, and thankful that I was given the chance to share a fail and not pretend that we don't all have these issues, and just be able to sit with him and pray with him and talk to him. And so, yeah, it was really interesting. And I thought maybe I don't need therapy anymore because I can just create these moments with my own kids.
Thanks for joining us today for the Sprinter Mom with Lashes On podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. We'll see you next week.